guys, it's your IVF bestie, and I'm going to be talking about IVF after loss. So what does that mean? It means that after a miscarriage, you're gonna move forward with IVF because you still have embryos, and it is possibly the most gut-wrenching experience you will ever go through if you have to go through it. So for example, I had a miscarriage earlier this year at 6 weeks in early January, and after the miscarriage was complete, I had a phone call with my doctor to really just say, hey, are you ready to move on? And that was that was the hardest question I have ever been asked, because when you deal with infertility for so long and you finally get to where you're like, oh my gosh, this is almost over, we're so lucky, I'm so happy, and then the absolute worst outcome happens, and then to be like, ready to try again? It's like, I don't know. That was pretty bad. I don't want to do that again. So yeah, there's nothing like trying to move forward because it feels like such a gut punch. Honestly, it's really bad. So when you get that phone call, you're gonna ask yourself, is it the right time? How much time do I need? I'm running out of time. That is if you go through IVF, that is the constant battle in your head is, okay, if I do this on this day, then I'll be pregnant this year. And you come up with these hypotheticals if everything goes to plan, and typically nothing goes to plan with IVF. So prepare yourself for that as well. But your doctor is going to order a few tests for you that's automatic, an SIS, to make sure everything is gone, your body is healing. You have to constantly get HSG tested to make sure you're not producing, the baby hormone. And so that takes so much time, and I did not realize how much time that would take. So once I finally got that phone call of like, everything looks good, what do you want to do? It was like, I don't know. I don't want to have another miscarriage. Like, how can we not do that again? So that's going to be a real conversation that you have with your doctor of like, okay, what needs to change? We need a different outcome. What can we do? So if you did a fully medicated, maybe you do a modified, which is like partially medicated. That's what we chose to do. Unfortunately, we did that twice and no baby stuck. So it's trying to figure out, okay, how do I get pregnant? Then how do I stay pregnant? What are the issues? Things like that. So you should definitely think about that and try to address that. Definitely do what works, but change where it's needed. If I could do it again, after my miscarriage, I would ask for so many more tests. I eventually asked for tests after my second embryo transfer, and even then, they fought me on it. I begged and begged for testing for, I think it's called the Repeated Pregnancy Loss Panel, an RPL panel. That's where they test your blood for like, I think it's 12 different things with lupus, cardiolipin, IgG, IgM, things like that. So there's a literal test that they can do to see if you are like predisposed to having miscarriages. And they won't run the test on you unless you've had 2 or 3 miscarriages. I don't love that. I really don't. I think that's disgusting. I think that should have been ran ahead of time, but that's not how that works. Whatever. It's disgusting. I don't like that. And if someone wants a test, the fact that you're just taking my blood, like, I'm trying not to get mad. Oh, it'll make me really mad if I think about it too much. So I choose not to think about it. So try and get as much testing as you can. See how your transfer is going to be different the next time. The next part is a little sad because, at least for me, I felt, obviously I was really sad and upset about my miscarriage, and then I finally got to a point where I was healthy enough to move forward with another embryo transfer. And that was hopeful. I was hopeful and excited to try and be pregnant because, you know, I really liked being pregnant for the, you know, that was pretty cool. But I immediately felt guilt because in my head, it's like, well, how dare I forget about my son that I lost? How dare I, you know, move on? And, you know, it didn't feel like I was ready to stop mourning him. And what I've learned since then is like, just because I'm still trying to have a family doesn't mean I've forgotten about him or the future that I had planned in my head for us and for our family and for our son. So it's definitely really hard to do, and I haven't fully come to terms with it yet because I'm constantly reminded that, you know, I should be pregnant. I would be on the tail end. I would be 36 weeks pregnant now. And that's really frustrating because you have it all planned. Like I said, with these timelines, you have everything planned and memorized, and you're like, okay, but baby's gonna come here. So that means second trimester is here, third trimester is here, and then nothing. So these timelines will kill you. And yeah, you're gonna feel probably very guilty because it feels like you're just moving on and it feels wrong and you feel guilty, and it's a plethora of emotions. Yeah, that's it. That's really it. The question is, does IVF get easier? No, it does not. I've done 3 egg retrievals and I've done 3 embryo transfers, and at no point have I been, wow, this is nothing or this is easy. You know, a lot of people say that comes when you have the baby, but, you know, I'm not lucky enough to be one of those people yet. This video is pretty depressing. But hopefully one day I will be able to say that. I will say IVF was probably the easiest in the very beginning because I was so hopeful and delusional, and I didn't get any disappointment from IVF yet. So I think the first couple weeks, that's a lie, probably the first like 7 days of egg retrieval, which were shots, that was my happiest, and I was excited to do my injections because that meant every day I was 1 shot closer. And now that feels so exhausting. It's to be that excited and happy about IVF is just like, oh my God, just wait. So yeah, IVF does not get easier. Again, if you're on the other side of it, you probably feel completely different, and hopefully I will come out with a baby from IVF and feel so differently and look back on this video and be like, you know, oh, she doesn't know it yet. Hopefully. So I have some takeaways written down. Let me read them to you. The key takeaways: move forward when you're ready, do what is best for you, and, you know, take the time that you need. Second, I think you should always get more testing, ask the question, see how to make this baby stick, your body accept it and move forward. There's always an answer, and fight for yours. And third, it is not wrong to move forward and still try to be a parent, to be a mom. You can always remember your first pregnancy, your first child that is now in heaven. I still keep him close to my heart, and it's not wrong to still want a family after loss. So that's all I have for you. I'm so sorry. It's so sad and depressing, but I think it's an important conversation to have, and especially if you have friends or family going through IVF and they've had a miscarriage, you don't really know what they're going through. Even if you can share that experience with them, it's not the same. It's really not. And people did try to compare and relate to me when they had tough pregnancies. And, you know, if you don't go through IVF, I just wouldn't relate to anybody, try to relate to anybody if you haven't gone through it. I think that's probably a bad idea. So just support your friends, and anyone going through IVF, ask for support because you're definitely going to need it. So, all right, I hope you found this just a little bit helpful and a little less alone. And until next time, all right, see you guys.